Good morning, Yamhill County. This is Ray and Kyle at To the Root of It from KLYC Radio, 1260 on your radio dial. How about that? There's an intro for you, folks. Our cell phone number here, or not cell phone, the house phone, right, is 503-435-1260. If you have any questions or things that we haven't talked about yet that you think we need to, and there's some of that going around.
Yeah, there is. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning. Yeah, you're there. I always love this hookup
That's
session.
Right. It's 9:04 right now. We are broadcasting from McMinnville, and we have had, some weather going on right now, right?
Yeah, well, we knew it was coming. Yeah,
I know, it's been expected.
The Weather Underground speaks the truth, my friends.
That's right. That's Weather Underground, or WUnderground.com, which is a really great source for getting past weather information and also getting the future weather. And as you've recently learned, they're really accurate.
They're scary accurate. It's they're better than the old weather dog. I can tell you that.
That's right. And then this past week, at least even this morning, right now it's 29 degrees. It's been about 29 degrees for about an hour, 2 hours right now, which means frost is out there on the ground, freezing temperatures.
And you can tell we have a north wind because the field out here by the radio station is Siberia.
You noticed that too, as
everybody's driving back and forth on the road, making tracks in the ice and frost.
It is true.
Oh wait, that was just me.
Because all of these, we turn into where the radio station is, and that every empty field, every empty lot is
northern
just,
Minnesota.
It looks like snow.
Yep.
And even driving in from Amity this morning, it was clear, and then as soon as I turn on to 18, then it's fog. It's dense fog just right there hanging in that field, and it's just pretty unique.
Well, the forecast has pockets of freezing fog. And that's every single low spot. You can be driving along and bright, sunny day. Not sunny day. There's high clouds, but high broken clouds. But yeah, the fog will still be laying in those inverted, upside down, cold spots.
Yeah, and it looks like in the upcoming week, every night we're going to be hitting freezing temperatures. It doesn't look like we get any relief from that whatsoever, which. Again, expected.
I'm burning through the wood pile in the garage.
I was out early this morning at about 4:30 this morning, and the fog was dense, except for there was a clear patch in the sky where I could actually see the stars, and it was nice. However,
that's kind of cool.
It's really cool, and then using one of those big mag lights, those things are really cool in the fog because I can see every droplet of water that's in front of me.
Really? Yeah, it just reflects off every little piece of mist as it's blowing by.
Yeah, I looked like, I could have flashed the bat signal because these mag lights are so great. They just flash so far.
You get that for Christmas?
No, I didn't get this. This is the home defense system.
Oh, the shine across the field one.
Yeah, exactly.
Ah.
Yeah. Early this morning, fog was definitely out there. Expect that all this coming week and those freezing temperatures. So if you haven't mulched your roots that you want to, you should probably do that this week. I mean, you're going to probably...
Well, you can still save some of them.
Well, you're going to probably be dropping off that Christmas tree to Recology to recycle it anyway,
that's true.
Right?
That's true.
So pick up some mulch if you're out there.
Yep. It's still time to go ahead and protect things. And even though it doesn't get like below 25 or, the really dangerous temperatures that often, the top parts of, like you said, rooty roots, they're surface rooters.
That's right. We were talking about that. And there was a great article on the extension.oregonstate.edu website that covers 8 things that you can do to protect protect your garden from freezing temperatures. We've touched on a lot of them earlier in the shows because we prepare for these freezing temperatures, but it's a really great reminder, especially with a string of days where we're just going to hit those freezing temperatures, that if you haven't protected your things, your plants, you really should think about doing that right now. And one of the things that I hadn't taken care of or even considered were my rhododendrons that are in front of my house. And so They've got a nice little layer of mulch over them, but you can tell that the freezing temperatures are hitting them hard because the leaves just aren't, that nice vibrant green
They're
or
curling up like they're trying to protect
Exactly.
themselves in a blankie.
Exactly. And the thing that you learn is that with these freezing temperatures, these long strings of freezing temperatures, is that the plants, while they're dormant, they're still trying to get water to these things, and they can't because the ground around them is frozen. So that's why we say that you need to protect these roots that are on the surface area, because if you don't, they're freezing right now, and so no water is moving anywhere, and it might as well be drought conditions for them.
Well, roots especially are, the plant is dormant, in that means that there's no sap up, and it's not making leaves. But what it's doing is down in the whole root system, they're still transpiring, still doing water air exchanges and creating vitamins and minerals and storing them for when they sense that it's time to send that stuff to the top story. And that's the warming of the soil that starts like the end of March, first part of April.
Just not the thawing of the soil. It's when it's getting up to about 50 degrees and really warm and constantly like that. Then you'll see them start to. But right now, they need all the help.
Right now, they look like hell.
Isn't it horrible?
They're fried.
Oh man! But reading these articles, it reminds me of these things that are out there. Another thing that was mentioned is the plants that you have underneath the awning of your house. Those actually probably need to get watered because they're not getting rained on. And every 6 to 8 weeks is the recommended dosage, but I think that actually depends on which plants you're dealing with.
Well, and depending on the size of the pot, like the pots I have that had the tulips in it that we brought in for show and tell,
right?
They get like a cup of water once a month because they're like smaller than a 5-gallon pail. Then I've got one that's got this giganticus freakazoid geranium in it that I've had for a couple of years now, and it gets like a quart to quart and a half once a month.
Oh, yes.
And just, pour it on it and let it drip through and then forget about it. It's fine. So pot size,
Right, that makes the difference.
Yeah, judge the amount of water you're going to dump on them. Don't feed them any fertilizer.
No, you don't want to encourage any growth right now or trick them into believing that spring is coming any sooner than it is.
Yeah, don't.
Because another thing that this article pointed out is that we've had this streak of temperature drops, and it's it should be a wake-up call. But we've still got months ahead of all of this. This isn't the only cold spell that we're going to have.
This just got started.
Right.
This is winter.
We have until March or April to deal with all of these cold temperatures. So, yeah, you've got to protect that root system when you can.
Yeah, and then in mid-February, when we get that fake 2 weeks of spring and everybody goes out and tries to rototill their garden.
And it's just a clump of mud.
Mud ball, that turns out to be every year.
Every year.
And I've been guilty of it too.
Well, you're talking about it, Ed, but I have been. I dream about it, and I fantasize about being able to get the tiller out there as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And maybe this will be the week. And I remember last week mentioning that I needed to chemically get rid of some of my grass in my garden, and I was hoping that it would warm up enough for me to do that.
A true believer. I love that.
Exactly.
I love that about you.
And you have these things that are you're convincing yourself that you'll be able to get done, and no, you just can't rush Mother Nature.
Especially when you walk out the door and it's still cold.
Right. And and for me, since I didn't take care of it when I needed to take care of it, there's no catching up.
No. But that's why we have the plant sale at the end of April.
Yeah.
So that it's early enough that people can get replacement parts.
Right, exactly.
I've always loved that about that.
Yeah, and speaking of Master Gardeners, which we're both members of, they have the classes that are starting in January.
January 9th.
2 weeks.
Yep.
2 weeks.
I think it's just about full too.
Yeah.
Which is great.
It's going to be a really big class
this year.
learning everything that we are learning. Constantly learning. It's not like
and relearning.
Everything exactly.
And it's a good thing I still have my big Master Gardener textbook, because I'd forgotten the calculation for determining the percent of nitrogen.
And why would you remember that?
Well, somebody was asking, should I fertilize my lawn? and this is in December.
Yeah, no.
It's like, oh, no, please step away from the Miracle
It's
Grove,
just gonna
Granddad.
leach off. It'll run off.
Keep
and you'll
your
waste it all.
hands out of the box.
So you went through the book, and you brought the book in.
I took it over and I showed the person who was asking the question.
And was that because you got it out last week because we did a show on books and you brought that big binder in? And for me, that looked like a reason to go ahead and thumb through it again.
Well, they'd asked, how do you get one of them? That's the wrong thing to ask me.
It's true. You have a whole spiel on how to do that, right?
I got 20 minutes of why you ought to be a master gardener.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But it's a good book, and it was nice to see. So did you thumb through it? Did you go ahead?
Yeah, I had to go through and I had to calculate it out
Yeah.
and show how to do it, how you take 10, when it says nitrogen 10%,
Right.
that means 10% per weight. So if you want to put on 10 pounds of nitrogen,
Mhm.
you'd have to put on 100 pounds of fertilizer.
Wow. Because the fertilizer is only 10% nitrogen. Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, pretty basic.
Yeah, but the calculation's there.
My 5th grade granddaughter can do it. I can.
Did she?
Not without the little thingy with the numbers on the top.
Calculators do.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I've become math deficient.
So other than mulch, the frozen ground that we need to take care of, what are some other things that we can get into after the break? Any quick pointers?
Well, just keep an eye on your shrubs, your woody shrubs like arborvitae and boxwood and things like that. And if they do get bumped while they are in a frozen state, they will have a tendency to snap, and so those broken limbs need to be trimmed off. And that's really all you need to do is just kind of keep up the maintenance for right now.
Yeah, when we did get
and
that
buy
snow,
mulch.
right? And when we did get that snow, it's good to wipe that snow off for some of those shrubs that you mentioned, because that's what also causes that leaf damage and the falling of the branches.
If we do get a bunch of snow, which is always conceivable.
Seems like we would this year if we were going to.
Yeah. Well, we'll wait and see if that one rain cloud comes in from the northwest on a freezing day.
Right.
Yeah. That's the only way we're going to get snow this year. But anyway, if we do get snow, don't worry about that hurting your plants, because that's insulation.
It is
right?
actually an insulation, because nothing below it can get below freezing, which is when it gets dangerous.
Right.
Right.
It keeps your plant at about 31, 32 degrees.
Yep.
Even though it gets colder outside. We're gonna take a little break right now. Give us a call, 503-435-1260. This is Ray and Kyle, To the Root of It, and we're talking gardening in Yamhill County.
AM 1260 KLYC, and we want to thank Recology Northwest Greenlands for helping bring To the Root of It back to you here on AM 1260 KLYC. And with us right now is site lead Nick Olheiser. In fact, we're standing in the yard at Recology Northwest Greenlands. Nick, thank you for sponsoring the show.
Thank you, and it's great to be here today.
Let's talk about the redistribution, reallocation in the company. There's been a little bit of changing of names and so on and so forth. Explain what's going on.
Yeah, we were actually bought out a few years ago by a company named Recology out of San Francisco. Essentially what's going on out here, there's just been a restructuring within the company. We are now more part of an organics division, which is allowing us to kind of centralize and hone in on the composting part of it, the phase that we want to be in. It kind of allows us to just share and reincorporate our knowledge within that and really build off of that.
So if you're driving by WOW over here by the fairgrounds, by the Shell gas station, and you're looking for compost, and they're looking to supply compost needs for large and small producers. So even if you're the small home gardener and you just want a bucket or two, you can come down and get that.
Yes, absolutely. We're located over here on Orchard Avenue. You pull in, we have anything from rock to bark dust to soil blends to just straight compost.
Tell me what's unique in what you offer here to the public.
What really sets us apart is the in-depth retail yard that we have. We have multiple products that a lot of other places aren't able to provide. One of our more popular features is the green waste pile. You can bring in any kind of yard debris, grass trimmings, branches, anything like that, and recycle it here. And then from there, it's reincorporated into the process, and in a couple months, it comes out as compost.
What are your hours, and when can people come by and pick up some compost?
Our hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, Saturday, 9 to 4. Anytime in those hours, come on by. We got a friendly staff, always always on hand, ready to help out and answer any questions in any way they can, and get you any kind of needs you have.
What are your price ranges?
Price ranges for compost, pretty much all of our products, anywhere from $20 to $30 a yard. We do half-yard increments. Soil blends, same thing. We also have custom blend services that we do. There's something that on site that you don't see or that you can't find that you want, we're able to blend it up for you right there and get you exactly what you need.
Do you have Facebook, a website, and a phone number?
We don't have a Facebook currently right now. We are working on that. Our website is Recology, or it's OregonCompost.com. Sorry, just OregonCompost.com. And phone number is going to be 503-434-1671.
Recology Northwest Greenlands. We're talking here to Nick Olheiser, and they're bringing To the Root of It here on AM 1260 KLYC. There are times you simply need a friend, someone who will stop and listen to your needs. Macy & Son have a heritage of helping Yamhill County residents in their hour of need. Macy & Son have been serving families here since 1903, 5 generations of their family taking care of yours. Macy & Son, in the business of helping people and meeting the individual needs of McMinnville area families, and will continue to do so in the future. At the time when you need someone who cares, understands, and is there to help, call Macy & Son, serving 9 communities in Yamhill County with funeral needs.
Alrighty. We're back to the root of it.
To the root of it is right back.
To the root of it.
Oh my gosh, we got Ray freestyling. That's great. So we've been talking about the freezing temperatures because it's a really great topic to talk about right now.
Yep, and how to take care of your plants inside and outside of the garage, and on the patio, underneath the roof, that kind of thing.
One of the things we need to remind people is the hanging plants that you have out there. If they're not already in the garage, they definitely need to be in the garage now because it's just a frozen ice ball up there.
Well, if it's been out there clear through all of this, you're probably going to be doing some shopping. Hope it wasn't your prized bulbs.
Right. But go ahead and take those things down because they're going to freeze. One of the things that my daughter did over the holidays right now is she took a baggie, one of those big gallon bags of Ziploc, and went ahead and filled it up with water, stuck it in the freezer, and froze it. So there's this big gallon ice cube in there. And then a week ago she took it and just put it out on the front porch, and it's been sitting out there for a week, 10 days maybe, and it's only half gone down. It's only half melted. So I think that kind of speaks to the weather that we've been having, because I would have expected a block of ice to have melted by now, but it hasn't.
She's conducting her own little...
she didn't realize that's what she was doing for me, is setting up an experiment for me to watch.
Oh, she might have in her own little brain been doing it.
Right. But don't you find that interesting? I mean, if you would have, wouldn't you thought it would have been melted by now?
Not when it, seldom gets much above 40. And then you come into the shade there pretty quick in the afternoon too. When the heat of the day and the rest of the heat of the day. What am I saying? When that roaring 38 degrees hits.
When we've been reaching 40, 42 degrees, I would have expected that it would have melted by then. But
everybody makes a mad dash for the mailbox because it's over 40.
But I think that can probably speak to what the roots are going through too.
Yeah.
Because they've maybe frozen and they're sitting in pools of cold water, so they're not likely to get any help from the temperature.
Well, if you've got even a couple of inches of mulch over it, you're going to be pretty well protected.
Right.
3 to 4 inches is optimum for minimum.
That's like having one of those down comforters over the root system.
Right.
Yeah.
You can either have one blanket or you can have the heated blanket.
Right.
Yeah, that type of thing.
But one of the things that aren't being affected too harshly are the native trees.
Well, everything goes kind of dormant.
That's right.
Even fir trees, the sap goes down.
But they can withstand negative temperatures.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, because that's part of the process, or the blessing of having the sap come down out of the tree, is because it's such a high percentage of water, it doesn't freeze and then split the bark.
Right, because that would be
bad.
Evolutionary. Speaking too, you couldn't have something do that.
And it's something that we've seen at the Master Gardener desk off and on
Oh, really?
In the past years is in the springtime, when we've what was it, 96, when we had the 14, 16 inches of snow or
Wow.
something, or anyway, 2006.
Mm-hmm.
The next spring, there was a lot of damage in twigs because they got caught with the sap up.
I
We
see.
had a nasty freeze just before Thanksgiving that year.
And water expands when frozen?
Bingo.
Yeah.
And then as it goes through the winter, the damage is already done to the bark of the tree. And so come next spring, when the sap comes up and it starts running out these fissures in the bark, people go, "Why are my trees leaking?"
Right. I can see that.
Yeah. Why is my maple tree dripping on my car? It's
Because it's a maple tree, and that's what they do.
Oh, don't even get me. I've got a real love-hate relationship with the maple tree right now.
I believe you, because when we moved to Hillsborough, that's what they love to line those streets with, because they
Yeah.
look very beautiful. But if you park your car underneath that, you regret it.
No, I've got one. I swear to God, that sucker's going to be 16 inches long in segments before the spring is done.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
But anyway, then when they bring the twigs into the master gardener desk, I was actually going someplace with this.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. But anyway, when they bring the twigs into the master gardener desk, which anybody can do if you have questions, you can bring in samples to the master gardener desk at 2050 Lafayette. And
Right here in McMinnville.
Right here in McMinnville at the extension office. Just one of our little gifts.
Right. So people are bringing in these broken
Anyway,
twigs.
they're bringing in these split twigs, and they've got little black lines down the side of it, and they're going, "What's the matter with this? This looks," and the twig is, of course, brittle
Uh-huh.
because the sap didn't make it to the end.
Can't go back up there.
And the only thing you can do is just whack it off where you find green wood. Go back a couple inches from the split, and,
Uh-huh.
alter the appearance of your plant.
Yeah. But the plant itself
Is
the whole,
fine.
Right. Yep, it just lost a finger. Or
Yeah,
or frost or
it
something.
you whacked a twig, it'll grow another one.
Yep. So that's one thing that but with these trees, these evergreens, they're built for these frost spills, so you're not really having to worry about them too much. But one of the reminders that you do have to worry about, especially when we have these frosts, is don't walk on your lawn. And we do say that almost every show, but if you want to prevent your lawn from having brown track marks, you don't do that.
Yeah, I almost said it. I'm going to go ahead and say it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you want to really mess up somebody's lawn.
don't.
No, okay, I won't go there.
Right. Yeah,
That
no, it's
would
not
be
to that.
bad.
Yeah, just avoid it. Wait for the temperature to go up and for the frost to melt, and then
Yeah.
do whatever you want.
That's the old Ray, the bad Ray.
Right, the vengeful Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the benefits of having a greenhouse, though, temperatures rarely get below 35 degrees inside of a greenhouse if it's not heated. So that's, we talk about putting stuff in the garage, which is a good place, but if you want them to, I don't know, have some sun or semblance of being outdoors, greenhouse is a great way to go. And those temperatures just don't drop because you don't have the wind blowing on it and other effects like rain.
I had a real epiphany the other day.
Again?
Oh, yeah. About the temperature of life in my greenhouse, in my garage.
Okay.
When you get into the car first thing in the morning and you turn it on,
Yes.
and it has a little temperature thing,
All right.
that's the temperature in the garage.
Oh, well, of
Honest
course
to
it
God.
is. Sure it is.
So if you get in your car and it says 40 degrees or 38 degrees,
Woohoo!
the plants are safe.
Yeah.
Then when you pull out of the garage and you close the door and that thing starts diving for like 28, then you know it's dangerous to drive.
Dangerous to drive.
But yeah, you don't have to go out and buy a thermometer.
No, you've got one in your car more than likely.
If you have one in your car.
Right.
But if you go out and buy a $1 thermometer, that's good enough to keep an idea of what's going on in your garage.
Mm-hmm.
And most time plants survive quite nicely because they're dormant.
Right.
They're just sitting there. They're fine. But I do have to go water them.
Yeah. And watering them, sometimes you don't want to necessarily water them when it is freezing temperatures, though.
Not outside.
No, not outside, but
No.
inside it's perfectly fine. But we're not watering as much indoors.
Well, they get plenty of rain or mist or the fog, the humidity. They take care of their own transpiration needs just fine. And like we said, most of them are dormant anyway, so they're fine.
Yep. And since this is the last show of the year, last
Yeah.
show of the month, we can start preparing for the things that we need to do in the garden in January. And at the extension.oregonstate.edu/gardening website, we have a very hopeful what to do in the month of calendar. And being January, it's really funny, these calendars, how small the list gets.
Get down to just 3 items.
Right, in June or July.
Stare
it's
at your
like
dead
15
garden.
pages, and now it's like 1 page, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But one of the things that we recommend is keeping a garden journal. And if you're going to start it, now's the time to really start it, because there's not really much else going on. So you go out and you buy that notebook and you put down the date. And
That's
even
that's a good New Year's resolution.
it's a really good resolution. Even writing down the temperatures a day, that'll give you a really good a marker, and it also puts you in the mindset of doing something daily with the garden.
You can start ordering catalogs and planning too,
Oh, yes.
but
that's
don't
true.
order too many.
Well, one of the articles that I was reading about is gardeners are really prone to impulse purchases. So if you do get those catalogs, and it's even worse when you're online, because you just add to cart, add to cart, add to cart. And it gets really dangerous. But you're right, you can order those catalogs, but be mindful that not only are gardeners more prone to impulse purchases, they're prone to a lot of purchases when they do purchase something.
My wife doesn't let me take the Visa card into the office anymore.
Well, and you can overplan or over. It's just like going to a buffet. Your eyes are bigger than your stomach, and you can just load up on that stuff, and then all of a sudden you've got more things than you know what to do with.
Well, you know what you had last year,
If you had a journal,
if you had a journal,
right?
and you can look at your shrubs and kind of remember where the yellow ones were and where the red ones were and that kind of stuff, and check those guys out. And if it's been a couple of years, it doesn't hurt to spruce it up with something new.
Yeah, change it up.
That's my philosophy.
Right. Yep. And seeds and seed catalog. I can't. It's that time of year.
I sadly have 4 packages of seed in my drawer already.
All ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I was actually after the show gonna go pick up some starter soil so that I can start some seeds right now.
I'll be starting my annuals probably about the end of February.
Mhm.
So they'll be. And after remember the poppy experiment we had?
Right.
Okay, well, they went away.
They went away. Did
Yeah,
did they find a home, or did they go away?
I'll buy them back next month in some mulch.
Oh.
Yeah, they went.
They made it to the graveyard.
Yeah, they went to the dead plant happy hunting ground. That's recology.
It's
which,
recology. It's reincarnation for them.
I love it over there. I know people.
You should just set up an office there in the mulch station.
No, because then I'd never get my yard home.
That is sad about the poppies, though.
Yeah.
I thought.
But anyway, I do know the seed is viable.
Right.
And so, like you say, starting soil, I'll go ahead about then and fill up some 4-inch pots and try to get like just 3 or 4 seeds in each one.
Yeah. That was funny with the experiment, is we had a clump of 50.
Yeah, we did have a bit of a cluster. There was a whole flock of them in one corner.
How did that happen?
I don't know.
Yeah. But yeah, the seeds. Another thing is maybe drop into the local nurseries that we have here in not just here in McMinnville, but everywhere in Newburgh, throughout Yamhill County, because you talk to them, see what they're going to be getting in, see if they have any ideas.
Well, we're really blessed gardening-wise.
Aren't we?
Yeah,
Wow.
we've got several excellent, very knowledgeable nurseries here in town. Where you can go and get things that are grown in Oregon. They're not shipped in from out of state. They're grown here so that they are weatherized already. They're already adapted. If you take it out of their greenhouse and put it in your garden, it's going to be just fine.
Right. One of the things that you can actually do right now that propagation-wise, you can take hardwood cuttings of deciduous ornamental shrubs and trees.
Oh, yeah, that's fun.
Yes, I have never been successful with this. I have tried it the past 2 years because now is the time to do it, and I think that maybe we'll do a show on it next week because it is an interesting and fascinating topic, and there's a new PowerPoint presentation on the website about it. And I'm going to try it this year. Hopefully, I'll be successful in my vineyard classes. We actually took cuttings and put them on rootstock, so I have a little bit more hands-on experience than the previous years. But it's something that I'm interested in enough, and now's the time that we can go ahead and take cuttings from those hardwood plants.
Have you been over to the greenhouse recently?
No.
Oh.
At the Yamhill County
At the Yamhill
Fairgrounds.
County Fairgrounds, the Master Gardener Greenhouse.
Right.
We have a propagation committee.
Right.
And they actually got started early last fall.
Mm-hmm.
So that now everything they propagated is like growing, probably that tall, 6 inches tall.
6 inches
some of it.
already, yeah.
It's either grown or died, but there are, honest to God, thousands of perennials doing just fine. They will be, next they'll go into gallon pots, and then they'll be ready for the plant sale at the end of April.
It doesn't get too cold in that greenhouse.
No,
No.
it's quite delightful, and it warms up during the daytime because it is a greenhouse.
Right.
And then it holds the temperature well into the evening.
Which is really key, and it does hold it in
pretty nicely.
really well. Yeah.
So now they've got all these perennials that are out getting winterized, and they're not dying.
Wow.
They're doing just fine.
It's winterizing, hardening.
Hardening off.
Right.
Yeah.
And that just speaks to the propagation committee.
Oh.
They know what to do, when to do it, and that's why I'm not in charge of it, because
That's
I would be 15 days too late for everything.
Yeah, they're such a cool group. They're like, they show up on Tuesday and they work for like 3 or 4 hours, and it's just like little worker bees, ants on the anthill, and
It is
and then they
amazing
go
to see.
away.
Right.
And here's all these beautiful plants. 4 or 5 months later, it's like, oh my.
Yeah, they are pretty incredible. We got to get down. I've got to get down there and see what they're doing, because every time I drop in there, I do learn something.
And we'll segue into, how about tidy?
Tidiness.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
One thing that also I need help with in my greenhouse is the tidiness, which is something that you can do right now if you care to venture out into the cold temperatures. It's been keeping me indoors. Really, it has. But yeah, if you're like me, you probably have dirty pots out there just on the floor. And even in the garden, the weeds are getting up there too. And some of the pruning that I need to do on my hostaberries, justaberries.
Yeah, my potting bench looks like a nursery store blew up.
Right.
I've got pieces of tubing and soaker hose and drip irrigation connections, and you're right, the upside down pots that I really was going to brush out with a wire brush.
Which
I may yet.
You still might.
Yeah, I will
you still
before I
have
actually put
4
something
months,
back in
right?
it.
You still have 3 months.
I discovered I got a half a bucket of potting soil back there already.
Oh, well,
I don't know where that came from.
I think I'm the same way. I have probably about 4 half-filled potting soil bags probably already.
Well, I found it when I got the wood pile down halfway. Here's a bucket of potting soil. Oh, that's where I put that, behind the wood pile. Well, we're going to take a break, folks. This is Ray and Kyle with To the Root of It, and we still have fun gardening, even if it's colder than.
Well, if it's cold out there, but right now it's 9:37. You can get us a streaming live right now, KLYC.us, and right now we're on 1260 AM here in McMinnville, broadcasting.
And the sound is fixed.
And the sound is excellent.
Yep.
We'll be right back.
AM 1260 KLYC and To the Root of It, sponsored once again by Recology Northwest Greenlands. We're sitting here, in fact, we're standing in the yard right now talking to Nick Olheiser. Nick, tell us about what sets your yard apart from others if they're out looking for compost.
Wide range of products available to the public. We have anything from rock to bark to all kind of soil blends to straight compost. We offer services such as the concrete mixers. We also have a blow-in service where the truck will come out and blow the bark in or compost for you right there. and when we leave, it's like we were never there, except the product's there.
Now they're right across here, just down from the fairgrounds, right across from the Shell station, right next door to WOW. So if you're bringing your old TV sets and so on and so forth in to get rid of them, old computers and such, we're just to the west of that.
Correct. We're located over here on Orchard Avenue, 2200 Orchard Avenue. When you pull in, you'll see the signs. You'll see the big green bunker tarps, keeping your soil dry and ready for you all winter.
What are your hours and phone number?
Hours are going to be 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. On Saturday, it's 9 to 4. Phone number is 503-434-1671.
All righty. Anything else you want to tell the folks?
We got a friendly staff here ready to answer and help you guys out with any kind of needs you have as far as landscaping and garden goes. Come on down, come say hi to us, and we'll help you out from there.
So if you're listening to tips that the guys are talking about on To the Root of It, and you need some composting, maybe you just need a little bit, maybe you need a lot, come on down and check them out. Again, the address?
2200 Northeast Orchard Avenue.
And the phone number?
503-434-1671.
Nick Olheiser talking to us. We're here at Recology Northwest Greenlands, and they bring To the Root of It back on KLYC AM 1260. Now back to the show. You would be amazed at how much better you feel when you're in shape. More stamina, more energy, clearer thinking, better health. Snap Fitness in McMinnville is there to help you get in shape and stay there. You're going to hear from people who use Snap Fitness, like Megan Cioli.
I had a heart condition 4 years ago, and the doctor told me I needed to lose 20 pounds in a year's time, told me to get some exercise. So I started Zumba, and I've lost almost 100 pounds doing Zumba and just taking care of what I eat.
In fact, Megan now teaches Zumba at Snap Fitness in McMinnville near Albertsons on Keck Road. Right now, when you mention you heard this ad on KLYC, you get a choice of 2 offers. No enrollment fee and 10% off every month for new members, or pay for 3 months and get the 4th month free with the purchase of a $25 access card. It's a great time to sign up if you're transferring from another gym. Snap Fitness offers classes 24/7 with showers, modern equipment, and no contracts. Ready to welcome you. Snap Fitness.
Okay, we're getting back to the root of it. We're going to do a couple of maintenance things in January.
Right, we're talking about the January calendar available
stuff.
on extension.oregonstate.edu/gardening. You go there and you get every month of interest that you might have. Right now we're talking about January. We talked about the planning, the cleaning up that you can probably do.
Right.
I'm looking at this calendar right now. One of the things it says, do not walk on lawns until frost has melted.
That includes
it seems like the extension,
yeah,
Oregon Extension is trying to make sure that everybody knows that you do not walk on the lawns when there's frost on them. I guess that's why that's embedded in our brains, is because everywhere we look, that's where it is. It's stated. Yeah, but so other than that, you can place windbreaks to protect sensitive landscape evergreens and things like that. I can't. Have you ever used any kind of windbreak or anything like that?
I did when I lived up in Cascade Locks and Hood River, where you get really harsh winter winds, 30, 40 mile an hour, consistent. I had to do it up there.
Yeah, because for me, the windbreak is the greenhouse.
I used gunny sacks.
Gunny sacks, I see.
Yeah, they're coarse. They allow for a little bit of movement, but they make good insulation as well. Mm-hmm. They're like big thermal blankie thing.
Right, the frost will happen on them, not on the ground below.
Yeah, and it doesn't damage the leaves underneath. Yeah, you get up there, it's a different kind of gardening than it is here in Yamhill County.
Yeah, and one of the things that I notice when we go on the calendar and you look at it, it'll have certain sections for Eastern Oregon and certain sections for Western Oregon.
Yep.
And when you look at the Eastern Oregon calendar, it's mostly frost or winter cold related addings.
Well, this is my favorite time of the year for killing slugs. Any time of the year is a good time to kill slugs, but I'm sorry.
And it really is.
There again, they rank right up there with that maple tree that ruined the sewer line.
I have a fear that what I have done, and because I went ahead and raked all of my leaves up and put them in a
Good
pile.
boy.
And
Good dog.
I did not go ahead and shred them up the way that I should have. However, I placed every single one of it's about a yard worth of leaves, and I placed them in my chicken coop area. And so I figured they're going to go ahead and stomp them
that's
down
fine.
and do all of that. However, the chicken coop is located less than 6 inches from my garden. So what I'm expecting now that you're talking about slugs is that I've created the biggest haven in the whole entire world for the slugs to breed in, to love in, to reproduce in.
Remember, we learned from To the Root of It, chickens don't eat.
And
a lot
chickens
of
do not eat slugs.
Do not eat slugs.
Right.
Ducks eat slugs. Geese eat slugs.
And you know
Turkeys
what?
eat
And
slugs.
I don't know because my neighbors, they actually have a couple of ducks, and they've been wandering a little closer. Well, not closer. They're on our property right now, and they've been digging in where the septic system outflows, and I'm wondering if they're picking up any slugs or anything like that out there, because that's the greenest area of the lawn too.
Well, they are probably. I mean, there's still activity. There's still bugs crawling around down below the frost line.
Yeah.
And they can scratch some of them up. And as it gets warm, the ground life has a tendency to go up to the surface, and
Right.
then as soon as it starts chilling down at night, they go back down.
Go back down.
You know, they're pretty good about that. So your caterpillars and your beetles and your ladybugs, or not ladybugs, potato bugs, and,
Right.
you know, the normal biodegraders of the soil.
Right. They're still active.
They're still active. They're still down there.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that maybe I'll bring one of those ducks over and just throw it in with the chickens or something. The chickens, I've noticed that their grazing ground has expanded like about tenfold because the little chicken coop area is no longer sufficient. So now they're flying over the fence and trying to go and find insects and other things to eat. You know, like 100
You should
feet,
adopt a
200
duck.
feet. Yeah. Okay. The thing about the ducks though is they don't shut up. They just are constantly, and so that's not a sound that I want to hear so often.
Oh, you're not. Obviously, you're not going to go to Ducks R Us and.
No, well, they look cute and they're really pretty to watch, but that sound, I don't think I'm ready for that kind of commitment.
Well, you got to trim their wings too, or as soon as
And that's
the
why the
geese go
chicken-
over, they're going to head right straight
They're
to
going
Rick
for the
Wheel.
geese. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the chickens, I definitely should probably clip their wings because they are flying.
Are they?
They're flying all over the
flying
place.
over the fence.
Yep.
They can fly that far.
Yep, and it's really great because the chicken coop is on a slopey hill, so they can climb up to the top of the slope, and then they'll run and then jump and fly about 25 feet. It's fun to watch.
It's a good time of the year though to monitor for pests.
Right.
And it's time to start watching out for the various fruit fly issues and worms and canker and things of that nature.
Right, the bacterial cankers are what you're going to
Yeah.
notice now,
Yeah.
and it looks like a malformation on top of it, right?
Right, but you can take care of it with dormant spray. So simple, and it's just lime sulfur spray. It's not anything tragic or evil or bad for the environment, but it is bad for bugs and bacteria and fungus on your fruit trees.
Right.
So start planning for that one. Make sure the sprayer works. Make sure the seals are good. The O-rings are good, so you can have.
Because now is the good time to prune these trees anyway. So you're
Yeah.
probably you're going to be noticing if you're pruning anyway, and so you go ahead and you just take a clean pruner, and just whack it off, chop it
Yeah.
off, snip it
Prune
off.
before you spray, though. 'Cause
Right, and sterilize the tools
Yep.
before and afterwards with some rubbing alcohol, or that's what I use is rubbing alcohol.
it's $2 a gallon.
Yeah, but so
Nah, that's not true.
you just don't want to transfer that canker, that bacteria
No.
or virus to any of your other trees that you're
And-
going to be pruning.
It's okay to start looking at the roses, but don't cut them yet.
Are you sure? Because honestly, I forgot to trim mine down, and so I've got these big, tall, 4-foot things that are outside of my kitchen that I just want to just whoosh.
You can go ahead and take a couple of feet down real easy.
Yeah.
And it would actually protect them should we have any nasty white stuff fall out of the sky.
Right.
Won't break them off at the
Got these big, huge rose hips on the ends of each of them too.
Yeah, you can go ahead and take those down a little bit, but don't whack them for spring till like after middle of February,
Right.
because they'll just grow and then they'll frost and then they don't get nothing. And
And now is the time to watch for field mice. Also, since we're talking about pests.
yeah, they're going to be sneaking into the house in the basement. And
We had one
outer
sneak
shed.
in, and thankfully, I'm knocking on wood right now. Thankfully, it's only been one so far. We have yet to capture it, but they are definitely cold also, and they're seeking as much warmth as they can find, and
Oh.
so they're going to be looking for holes, creating holes wherever they can to get inside.
That's one thing we don't have to worry about over there in Happy Condo Land.
No mice.
Not really.
They've gone the way, well, because it's pretty well developed.
We
area.
got yeah, but we still got skunks and possums and squirrels and herd of 10 deer that
Yeah.
brazenly stand in front of my deck and lustfully look at my pots, going,
Well, it's
"What's he going to
nice-
grow for us this year?"
It's nice that you get to experience the wildlife of Yamhill County
Hairy
in your
little.
condo area, but those mice, they're out there and they're coming in.
Yeah, it's going to be nesting season for a lot of mammals.
And that's one of the things that we talk about the field mice that you want to be aware of, is that they're going to be around those tree roots, and they're going to be around those shrub roots and
Yep.
just gnawing away. And it's really funny because I can see their little holes that the vole holes that I have in my right behind my house, so I can actually see them come out for about half a second, grab whatever grass or whatever they need, and run back in. And then they'll do it again, and all day I can just watch these little things run out real quick, run back in. But something that you need to be aware of, because they'll do that girdling thing where they're just they'll bite off the bottom of the roots and the
Yeah.
shrub's dead.
Yeah, they nimmer. Well, they're short, so they can't stand real tall,
Right.
and they just nibble off the bottom part of the.
They do a ring right around,
Yep.
and that ring causes the death.
Yep, they'll gnaw right through to the
Cambrium?
through the cambrium
Cambrium. Thank you.
and into the phloem
There you go.
where the tubes are. They kill the tree.
And no, very good. You
Kill
used
a shrub.
You used the appropriate terms there, Ray. Very good.
I did. I can't imagine what closet that came out of.
That's right. It's a good thing you pulled out that book last week.
Yeah.
But
Let's
you
see
can,
what else.
well, you can remove their hiding places, the mice's hiding places, by getting those cut down the weeds around, and maybe not have so much. Don't pile up your mulch around the.
Not
the
right
base.
around the stem.
Right,
No.
no.
Keep it out. No, at least I'd say 4 to 6 inches away from the stem.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that takes away their hiding spaces too. So if you can take away their hiding spaces, their living spaces, then you should be fine.
Yeah. But it is time to, that's a advantage of doing a little winter maintenance, is you prevent a lot of bad things from happening later.
Well, that's what's really great about these calendars that we have, is they're so timely. It's as though they've done research on what to do and when to do it, and they wrote it down in such a concise manner that the layman can pick up on it. If only I could follow the calendar each month. I feel like
Yeah,
I'm
just
a month
because it's hanging
behind.
on the wall in the garage don't mean it's going to happen, baby.
Exactly. But this is what to do and when to do it.
Yeah.
But you were talking about the use of dormant sprays, perfect time for it.
Yes.
And
That's a true one.
right, and which I wouldn't think of, but maybe it is time to pull out that lime sulfur.
Well, people who really value their fruit and use their back home, the backyard orchard as a food source.
Right.
And there's lots of people that have planted like dwarf apple trees and peaches and things of that nature. Apricots don't grow that well around here, but pears, cherries, and there's cultivars that or species of each fruit that are climatized for Yamhill County.
Right.
They do produce extremely well for us, and this is the time of year to plant them and or Well, you had to plant them, but also
Well,
to
the root
spray 'em.
sales, the root sales are coming
Yeah.
up, and that's basically what you get. Are those root sales are all the
Yeah, bare
stone
root.
fruits, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what's coming up, and so we get planted there, and that's what I went for when I first started gardening. Is you're going after the trees that you're going to get some
Right.
fruit out of, not necessarily something that looks good, and I think that's what a lot of beginning gardeners are doing, is going out and making sure that what they get they can eat.
Well,
So that's why there's a lot of them out there.
that's true, and that's why you want to go ahead and put your dormant sprays on now, so you can prevent apple scab and codling moth and the things that destroy your fruit, and make it ugly. And not that you can't.
Not that you can't eat it. It's
You can
just,
eat a scabby apple, but
right, exactly. But the texture of the skin is going to probably be
Right,
a little
you're-
unappealing, and the shape of it is going to be less than lovely.
I don't know. There's a guy over by my house that has the most beautiful John of Gold apples I've ever seen outside of a supermarket, and they are perfect every year. And I figured out why.
Because he sprays.
Yeah. It's like, well, there's somebody that actually practices what we preach,
Right.
and so I'm kind of tempted every now and then to, starting about August when them suckers are
Oh yeah.
big as softballs and just perfectly pink tinged.
It's hard not to. I mean, nobody's going to eat all of the apples in the apple tree. If I take one, if I take two, nobody's going to
Yeah.
miss them. They'll just end up on the ground anyway, right?
When we lived back in Wisconsin, my cousins called that coonin'.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because the raccoons would go up and steal the fruit.
Right.
So it was coonin' apples.
That's great. So you guys have masks on and like
Yeah.
that. Otherwise you'd get caught.
Yeah, and then run like a thief.
Right, because you were.
Because you were. You get your pockets full of apples.
Right. But we always ask that since we're talking about the spraying, you always want to use the least toxic choice also when for pest management, because you can also spray for the insects that are going to want to live on the plant. But like insecticidal soaps are good for these, horticultural oils and botanical insecticides, and organic and synthetic pesticides. Those are what we usually recommend if you do have a pest problem, but you don't apply these things unless you see or think that you're going to have them.
Yeah,
because
make su-
unnecessary application is not just a waste of money. It can do a lot more damage than good.
Well, yeah. Okay.
No, it's okay. You can comment
Brain
on them
fart.
if you want. If you would like to. Why don't I give you a moment then? We'll go ahead and jump into the last break real quick, and then we'll come back and we'll touch up on all of this. You've been listening to The Root of It right here on KLYC.
1260 KLYC. Welcome to the Root of It. Back to the show in just a moment. We want to take a moment to thank Recology Northwest Greenlands and site lead Nick Olheiser. Recology Northwest Greenlands is here to provide the mulch and the compost you need for your garden or even your larger operation. Nick, glad to have you with us on the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So tell us the products that you have to offer the public.
Well, our main golden gem is going to be the compost that we actually produce here on site. We offer yard debris service. It's dropped off. From there, it goes through the entire composting process, and there we're able to resell it to the public or to some of the more commercial type businesses. We also offer a wide range of rock and soil products to the community, as well as bark dust as well.
So I noticed if people want to get rid of their clippings, their leaves, their lawn mowing debris, and so on and so forth, they can bring that in here. Is there a charge for that?
Correct, there is. There is a $6 per yard charge. However, if you already have garbage service and you're located in the city limits of McMinnville, Lafayette, and Sheridan, I believe, it's already incorporated in your bill. So you just come in, let us know your address, and from there we can help you out and get you going from there.
So again, we're right next to the WOW drop-off site. So if you're dropping off your computers, recyclable materials, plastic, TV sets, and so on and so forth, we're just west of the site you do that. And there has been a name change and kind of a redivision of the company. Could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, a couple years ago we were bought out by a San Francisco-based company called Recology. From there, we've kind of done a little bit of a restructuring within the company, and we've now fallen under more of an organics division. With that, it's allowed us to kind of hone in and centralize our knowledge on the composting operations of it, and move forward from there and try to provide the best product that we can and at the cheapest cost we can.
There you go. Recology Northwest Greenlands, a sponsor, have to the root of it again. What are your hours?
It's going to be Monday through Friday, 8 to 4, and then on Saturday, 9 to 4.
And your phone number again.
503-474-1671.
Bringing you to the root of it here on AM 1260 KLYC. Thank you to Recology Northwest Greenlands. From the really great beer brewed in the room next door, to the tantalizing menus of pulled pork, Reuben, or try the bangers and mash, local sausage grilled to perfection, served with hand-mashed taters, caramelized onions and peppers. And tomorrow, there may be another surprise on the menu. You've arrived at the Granary District and the Grain Station Brew Works. For lunch, dinner, kick back and watching the game, or enjoying a brew with some friends. You can't beat the unique, historic old barn feeling for taking a break and having a good time. Smell the freshly ground coffee. Enjoy eating meals prepared from the freshest foods. Like Oregon, it's historic, unique, and a fun down-home place to be. Just a stone's throw from downtown at 8th and Alpine in McMinnville. Once you try the Grain Station Brew Works, you'll be back. See you in the barn. Grain Station Brew Works, McMinnville. What are you saving for? It's a good question because big dreams are financed by smart savings, and there's no better time to start saving than when you're young. That's why First Federal waives monthly service fees and minimum balance requirements for account holders under 18 years of age. So skip or run to First Federal because your big dreams of tomorrow really do start with saving today. Your friends at First Federal are ready to help you invest in your tomorrows. First Federal. We're here for you. We play your music. KLYC, McMinnville, Newburgh.
McMinnville Hearing Center brings you the news on KLYC. Hi, this is Greg Arnone. Your hearing is a priceless gift. Don't take it for granted. If you suspect that you're not hearing as well as you used to, please call us at 472-5554 for your free hearing screening and consultation. McMinnville Hearing Center, providing better hearing with a caring touch.
Okay, this is Ray, and this is Ray and Kyle, and we're doing To the Root of It from KLYC Radio. We are certified master gardeners with the Yamhill County Master Gardener Association. That makes us volunteers at the extension office, not necessarily tax deductible. Yeah, we actually
do.
We are a tax deductible organization,
and our volunteer hours are helpful towards a bigger check from the government. Also, mileage is
so we're told,
right? Just have to put it all together.
Yeah, you got to. Well, and you have to send your hours in, Kyle.
Oh, thank you for reminding
sorry.
me. I should probably get to the rest of those hours. That's right. I'm really horrible at logging my hours.
Yeah, I
it's because there's
too.
so many of them, right?
Well, it's because it's so fun for me to do it. I forget that somebody's supposed to be actually holding us accountable.
Right. Because it's our hours are counted towards something, and I'm not helping the lot.
Something meaningful in the great life of legislatures.
Right. So we were talking today about the things that we can do in January, and these things we learn from going to extension.oregonstate.edu/Yamhill or /gardening. If you go to Oregon State extension.oregonstate.edu/Yamhill. That's the Yamhill County Master Gardeners website on the extension site, where you have a lot of information about what we do and how we do it.
And another fun website, if you're interested in gardening information, is Yamhill Master Gardener singular .org.
Right, and that is actually our Yamhill County Master Gardener website outside of the extension office.
Right.
That actually says what we are doing.
That gives our schedules for programs and seminars and weekend demonstration education opportunities and all kinds of neat stuff.
Yep. But that's what we're available for. If you want to stop in to the extension office itself with a problem that you're having, you can go ahead and go there. It's 2050 Lafayette Avenue in McMinnville.
Well, ta-ta for now.
We might as well come back next week, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
Last show of the year. Did you know that? Did
This
you
is the last show.
Did that even register? It didn't register for me until this morning.
Really?
Yeah.
No, it really is. And next week will be the first show of the year.
Yeah, it'll be really great.
Okay.
But for now, we'll just go ahead and we'll sign off and hope that everyone has a safe and happy New Year's.
Yep, be careful out there. Keep your tools sharp.